Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football mock draft video. Today we're doing a 12-team PPR draft from the 6th pick on Sleeper app based on the request of Munchies, a commenter on my videos, probably a subscriber, most likely, if he wanted me to do a video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So it's a 12-team PPR from the 6th pick. The roster settings are 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, a flex, kicker, defense, and 6 bench spots. So let's get right into the draft. So the first pick is Saquon Barkley, followed by Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Devonta Adams, David Johnson. So this is something I can entirely see happening with the news of Zeke today. He did not show up to camp. Today is 7/26, Friday, 7/26. You're watching this on the 27th. Ezekiel Elliott did not report to camp. So, am I worried that he may not play this for a couple of weeks? Sure. But I do think that I would still draft him at the 6th spot because of how much value he brings to my team. Sorry there, guys. I had to mute my mic because I just sneezed very loud. So, for that reason, we're going to go Ezekiel Elliott. And even if he's out a week or two, I think he'll end up signing. So, I think he's worth the 6th overall pick. So after we went Ezekiel Elliott, DeAndre Hopkins went, followed by Michael Thomas, Le'Veon Bell, Julio Jones, Juju Smith-Schuster, James Conner, Tyreke Hill, Melvin Gordon, Odell Beckham Jr., Travis Kelce, Joe Mixon, Todd Gurley. So I'm just going to pause the draft so I can talk real quick about some of these players now. DeAndre Hopkins and Michael Thomas going at the 7-8, pretty normal. That's around where they go. Typically, I would go Julio over Michael Thomas, but I mean, I don't essentially hate Michael Thomas too much. I think those are the best 4 receivers by far. Adams, Hopkins, Thomas, and Julio. And I think Juju could potentially finish top 3, but at 5, I'm pretty confident in Juju, and I like that pick at the 111. Tyreke Hill rising up the draft boards, like I always say. He's now going at the 2-1. He went in the 111 or 112 in one of the drafts I did before, I'm pretty sure. And his ADP is 112 right now, so that's pretty normal now. Melvin Gordon falls all the way to the 2-2. He fell in my last video. His ADP was 111. If you didn't see that video about first round ADPs, check that out. It was from yesterday. There's going to be one later for second round ADP today, so make sure you're subscribed to see that. So Melvin Gordon is falling down because of his holdout news. I'm not sure if they're going to give him a contract. You would hope they do because the LA Chargers, their time period they have to win the Super Bowl is like right now. Phillip Rivers is getting older, so they need to win now with a young running back and a great running back in Melvin Gordon, so they should give him the money. Odell Beckham, pretty normal to be going here. Travis Kelce, I don't like drafting a tight end in the second round, so I'm kind of against that, but I don't hate people who draft tight ends this early. It's not a strategy that I like to do, but I don't end up hating my team when I do it as much as I do if I draft a quarterback early. Joe Mixon, I like a lot. I like picking him here at the 2-5. That's pretty good value. And Todd Gurley, I do not like due to the fact of his injury history, the fact that his knee is fucked. So I'm straying away from him. So I'm going to resume the draft and make my pick. So we're looking at the running backs and wide receivers on the board right now. The best running back on the board is Damian Williams or Nick Chubb, depending on which one you think will do better. I don't like Dalvin Cook. I do think Dalvin Cook this year could end up being like a top 10 running back, top 8 running back, but his injuries scare me far too much. His injury risk far outweighs the possible great breakout he could have this year, in my opinion. So for that reason, I'm out on him. I do like Williams and Chubb. The receivers available, the best one available is probably AB. Do I like him that much? Not really, but I think he could obviously have a great year, but I don't really trust Oakland, so I'd rather just go with a running back here. It's either Damian Williams or Nick Chubb. Leave down in the comments which one you would go with, but personally, I just like Damian Williams slightly more on a better offense that produces. Andy Reid produces top 12 fantasy running backs every single year, so pretty much every single year. So after we selected Damian Williams, Nick Chubb came off the board, followed by Dalvin Cook, Keenan Allen, Antonio Brown, T.Y. Hilton, Aaron Jones, Mike Evans, Adam Thielen, Leonard Fournette, A.J. Green. A.J. Green's value must have just shot up because typically you see him go at the end of the third or the beginning of the fourth. That's, I guess, where his value is. I still wouldn't pull the trigger there because of his injury history. He always has that turf toe injury. He always has foot injury, and I don't want that on my team. I like to avoid injuries pretty much at all costs. Leonard Fournette is another guy, injury prone, could probably have a top 10 year, going to get a shit ton of touches. Now, if he can stay healthy, you're going to regret not picking him in the third round, but going with such risky guys of Cook and Fournette probably will not pay out when probably one of these guys isn't going to play above 13 games this season, in my opinion. I don't think either of them will play above like 10 or 13 games, but that's just my opinion. You may think differently. I'm not a doctor, of course. I'm just some guy who talks at a fucking computer for 30, 40 minutes for you people to watch every single day. So, I'm going to resume the draft and make my pick. So, we got 2 running backs, and this is a PPR format. So, you want to probably, at this point, target a wideout. Now, if you want a tight end, you want not Kelsey, because Kelsey's already been taken. You want Kittle. You want Ertz. You want one of those guys. This is where you pick them right here. In the third round, I doubt they'll fall into the fourth round here. They typically go in the first 4 rounds, so I'm not sure if they'd fall to us right in the middle of the draft here. So if you wanted a running back, or if you wanted that tight end, this is where you'd go. I still kind of could go running back in this situation, but since it's PPR and I think the value, there could be a running back that falls to us in the fourth that I like. So for that reason, I'm going to go with the best wide receiver available. Now, a lot of people really like here. I'm going to pause again so I can talk even more. A lot of people like Amari Cooper a lot, and I like him a lot too. But I'd rather go with someone who I feel, in my opinion, is a lot safer and doesn't come with the risk that a guy like Amari Cooper comes up with. Amari Cooper, some games when he's on, this is when he was on Dallas, 16 points, 13 points, 6 points, 38 points, 13 points, 46, 8, 6. I can't have my wide receiver 1 scoring 6 points a bunch of times. A guy like Stefon Diggs also obviously has some down games, but he's typically around 15 to 20 points. Only had 2 games below 9.9 or like 9 points. So I'd much more willing to trust a guy like Stefon Diggs over Amari Cooper. But if you have already drafted 2 wide receivers, you will go for the no running back strategy. You go 3 wide receivers. I'm perfectly fine going Amari Cooper for the boom bust potential in your flex. But as my wide receiver 1, I am strictly against that. And for that reason, we're going to go Stefon Diggs here. After we went Stefon Diggs, Amari Cooper comes off the board, followed by Pat Mahomes, Devonta Freeman, George Kittle, me Timbers, Zach Ertz, David Montgomery, Robert Woods, Josh Jacobs, Marlon Mack, Julian Edelman, Derrick Henry, carry on my wayward son Johnson. So, like I said, the big 3 tight ends, Kelsey, Kittle, Ertz, all gone before the end of the 4th round. They went all before the end of the 3rd round, but you can still understand my point there with that. And some other picks to talk about here. Pat Mahomes goes at the 3-8. He may go in the 1st or 2nd round in your at-home draft. So if you target him a lot in the 3rd round, he may not be there, in my opinion, in the 3rd round in a lot of at-home drafts. So we're looking here. Devonta Freeman is a guy who some people like, some people hate. I'm kind of indifferent with Devonta Freeman. Now he's injury prone. That kind of scares me in the 3rd round. He's been injured a lot. Has top 10 potential, like I said, but I'd rather just stray away from him in most drafts. Kittle and Ertz, I like Kittle more than Ertz, so going Kittle over Ertz, in my opinion, a good strategy. Now going Dave Montgomery or Josh Jacobs over a guy like Marlon Mack seems pretty stupid in my opinion. I'd rather go with someone who's safe over 2 rookies. We don't necessarily know the role. Now I feel like I know Josh Jacobs' role. That's gonna be hammering the ball every fucking game. They're just gonna run the ball with Josh Jacobs for a couple of weeks. And if he sucks, then Chucky over there will take him out. David Montgomery, we don't know what he's going to do the first few weeks. Are they going to use him in the Jordan Howard role like they did last year with Jordan Howard? I think they will eventually, but not the first 3 weeks. So drafting as my RB2 is a kind of scary situation. I'd rather have him as my RB3, in my opinion. Someone who could be a flex option a couple weeks down the road when I already have a guy like Zeke and Damian Williams, and then I slide his ass in week 5 as my flex or my RB2 when someone's on bye. So, now, or if someone was to get hurt. Derrick Henry or Julian Edelman is a guy that I like. Now he got injured, so one of his fingers is fucked. So that brings back memories of Julian Edelman being an injury-prone player, which we weren't thinking of previously. He is kind of injury-prone. He had a great season last year. If he can stay healthy, he's a guy that has a lot of value. If he doesn't stay healthy, then obviously he's fucked. But if he ends up playing like 13, 12 solid games as your wide receiver and you know when to play him, then you're going to be good with Julian Edelman. You're going to be happy with the pick you made. But if you don't draft that wide receiver depth correctly later, then you're going to be absolutely fucked. Derrick Henry, I don't really like. I've talked about him so many times. I don't like him because I don't know what Tennessee's going to do with him. A lot of people will tell you, oh, they're going to run the tread off his tracks. He's going to get hammered. They're going to hammer the ball with him. I don't necessarily know if that's what they're going to do. Kerryon Johnson, I love that guy. I think they're going to hammer the ball with him. And it seems like that is going to actually happen over a guy like Derrick Henry. So now it's our pick. We're going to resume the draft. And it does look like the running backs are getting quite spry here. But it's A-okay because I think in the 5th round, my boy James White will be there to take. So I'd rather go wide receiver here. There's a lot of wide receivers to pick from. So there's my favorite wide receiver from the LA Rams has already been taken, which is Robert Woods. I don't mind Cooks. I'd happily go Cooks here. I like Cooks. I like Galladay. I like Ridley. I like Godwin. I like Lockett. I like all these names. There's a lot of wide receiver names in the middle of the middle rounds that I like. So I'm gonna go with Brandon Cooks here, and I wouldn't hate going Galladay, Ridley, Godwin, any of those guys, Lockett, but I'd prefer to go right here, Brandon Cooks, because I haven't selected him. And I'll talk about him after I make the pick. So, I'm going to pause the draft real quick. Brandon Cooks is a guy who could be the wide receiver 1 on the Rams, could be the wide receiver 2, but he's going to be catching a shit ton of passes. He had a great last season, and I think that this year he's going to play great once again. I think the Rams are going to rely less heavily on the run game with Todd Gurley injured, I think Jared Goff's going to step up even more, and I think that Brandon Cooks is a pretty safe option on a pretty great LA Rams team. So I'm going to resume the draft. After we picked Brandon Cooks, Philip Lindsay came off the board, followed by Mark Ingram, Kenny Galladay, Calvin Ridley, James White, Andrew Luck, Kenyon Drake, Chris Godwin, and Sony Michel. So, James White was sniped from us, even though we wanted to get him, but that's A-okay with me, because another running back that I like is still available, which is Chris Carson now. Chris Carson is a guy that a lot of people tell you he's injured. He is kind of injury prone. I do agree with that. He got injured last year. But the Seahawks run it so much that if you need to target Chris Carson or Penny in your draft, if they're running the ball 50-50 share, I still like Chris Carson a lot. So I'm all in on Chris Carson. I think he's going to have a great year. And at the 5th round value, I believe he's a certain buy-in. You need to be buying in on Chris Carson in this draft. I'll even explain that to you in a few days when Chris Carson is in the buy low, sell high video for the 5th round. So we're going to go with Chris Carson here. Subscribe for that. Make sure you click that subscribe button and the notification bell down below. Leave a comment as well. So Cooper Kupp. After we pick Chris Carson, Cooper Kupp came off the board, followed by Jarvis Landry, Aaron Rodgers, DJ Moore, Deshaun Watson, Tariq Cohen, Alshon Jeffrey, Rashad Penny, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Miller, Evan Ingram, Tevin Coleman, all coming off the board. Now currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks have been selected off the board. Pretty typical to be around like the 5th, 6th round for that to happen. Now, in your at-home draft, quarterbacks may fly absolutely off the board depending how good the players are in your league. Some owners believe you need to get that good quarterback to carry you to the championship. I believe the opposite of that. I don't mind taking a 6th, 7th round pick on a guy like Matty Ice. And that may end up being what I will do here because the running backs, I think my favorite running back will come back into the 7th round. If he doesn't, it's A-okay. So for that reason, I'd like to go Matt Ryan here. Typically, I wait till the 7th round, but I feel like there's such good value getting Matt Ryan this season, and for that reason, we're going to go with him here. So, also, the 4th tight ends came off the board, and a lot of the tight ends, the big 3 tight ends go early, and then guys like Evan Ingram, Hunter Henry, not Dalvin Cook, Jared Cook, Ebron, McDonald all go like the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th round. So we're going to go quarterback here for the value here. Our quarterback, because I don't think Matty Ice would fall to us. So for that reason, we're going to go him. Matt Ryan plays 13 out of 16 fantasy games in a dome this year. Obviously, that is advantageous because when you don't have to deal with the fucking wind. You're throwing the ball. There ain't no wind in no dome. So you're all good with that. He's going to be throwing dots to Julio, to Calvin Ridley, dump that shit off to the running backs, throw it to the tight end. And he's going to have a great year in fantasy, just like he did last year. This year, obviously, had a higher value than last year, or a higher pick, ADP, but it's going to be worth it at the end of the year. When you look back, you picked Matt Ryan in the 6th round. So for that reason, we're going Matthew Ryan. After we selected Matty Ice, Tyler Boyd comes off the board, followed by O.J. Howard, Dante Pettis, Mike Williams, Will Fuller, Hunter Henry, Darrell Henderson, Christian Kirk, Drew Brees, and Robbie Anderson. So likely Matt Ryan would not have fell to us in the 7th round. I would go Matt Ryan over Drew Brees. And I think the computer would have too. So it was a safe bet doing that. Bunch of good wide receivers have went that I like. O.J. Howard and Hunter Henry went. Darrell Henderson, a running back that I like to target, has been gone, but the running back that I did want is still available, and it is not Mr. Darius Geis. It is Latavius Murray. Now, Latavius Murray is a guy that a lot of people may not want to target. Oh, he's the running back 2 on the team. Oh, Alvin Kamara gets all the targets. Oh, all this shit. But do you know what happened last year? Mark Ingram would run in a touchdown. He'd still get snaps. He'd still run the ball. And Latavius Murray is a better version of the trash man, Mark Ingram. Fuck Mark Ingram. Don't draft him in your leagues. I never draft him. I don't even talk about him because I hate that guy so much in fantasy. He's not worth the 4-9 pick where he went in this draft. He's not worth a 4th round pick. He's not worth a 5th round pick. But you want to know who is? Who's worth a 7th round pick? Mr. Latavius Murray. Going to score some touchdowns. Going to be a solid flex option. He has that flex appeal. You know what I'm saying? He's a great fucking runner. He's going to do great this season on a team that, in my opinion, is going to win the Super Bowl, the New Orleans Saints. I love them. I love Sean Payton, that sexy motherfucker. No homo. Let's go with Latavius Murray here at this pick. So we got to resume the fucking draft and select my man Latavius Murray. So after we selected Latavius Murray, Eric Ebron came off the board, followed by Geronimo Allison, Allen Robinson, Darius Geis, Sammy Watkins, Jared Cook, Carson Wentz, Kareem Hunt, Sterling Shepard, the injured man. Don't draft him. He's hurt. He may be hurt for the first couple of weeks. Let him fall a bit. Latavius Murray, or not Latavius Murray, Larry Fitzgerald, Austin Eckler, and Kyler Murray. So now it's our pick. And if we don't draft my man Vance Refrigeration here, he's not going to fall to us. Now let me explain to you something real quick. Vance McDonald is going to have a breakout year this year. He's going to be better than Njoku. He's going to fucking score these touchdowns. He's a huge target. Jesse James is gone from the Steelers. Okay? Vance McDonald is going to stiff arm some motherfuckers like he stiff armed that guy on Tampa Bay. He is going to win you games. He's going to be a great tight end. He's going to get some of those targets that are gone from Jesse James and AB. He's going to be someone who Big Ben looks to in the end zone. Big Ben looks to when Juju's being doubled. My boy Vance Refrigeration is going to be wide open. Or he's going to dump it off to James Conner. There's a couple of looks there. The other wide receivers, guy like James Washington, he's not that good. Dante Moncrief's pretty good in my opinion. I like targeting him in fantasy. But Vance McDonald's a great target here in the 8th round. And if we don't pick him here, he's going to be gone. And I think getting him in the 8th round, a guy who could finish as a top 4 tight end, top 5 tight end, is definitely a fucking steal. So for that reason, we are going to draft my main man, not David Njoku, Vance McDonald. After we select Vance Refrigeration McDonald, Ronald Jones was selected, followed by the Chicago Bears defense, Cam Newton. Sorry, I hate when this happens because I have to just click, but it's fine because I'm not selecting the player. LaShawn McCoy, Cortland Sutton, Russell Wilson, Miles Sanders, David Njoku, and Jordan Howard, and then Marvin Jones. So now it's our pick. The first tight end to come off, or not the first tight end, the first defense to come off the board was the Bears. Typically, they're going to go in like the 8th, 9th round. Don't pick them above the 10th round, in my opinion. I would not pick them in the 10th round either. Some people like getting that defensive advantage where you don't have to stream, but I'll explain later how to stream your defense. That's okay with me. I don't need a defense this early. We got our quarterback. Now we need more running backs and some receivers. Now the receivers that'll go in the 10th round I like more than the running backs that'll go in the 10th round. So for that reason, we're looking towards the running backs. So a guy like Royce Freeman is probably the target here. Now, a lot of people, they're telling me that Philip Lindsay is all that. He's all that. He's short. He's got a great story. He's got a great story, unlike Brand the Broken. But you want to know what? The story doesn't fucking matter when you're on the field. Royce Freeman is going to get touches on Denver. He's going to hammer the ball. He's going to hammer the rock, and he's going to end up being a great pick in fantasy football this season. In the 9th round, quite the value. After we selected Rolls-Royce Freeman, Marquez Valdez-Scantling was selected, followed by Corey Davis, D.D. Westbrook, Jalen Samuels, Donta Foreman, Jared Goff, Damian Harris, Emmanuel Sanders, DK Metcalf, N'Keal Harry, Rams D, Jaguars D. Don't pick a D this early, like I said. And now it's our pick. We currently have 1, 2, 3, 5 running backs, and 2 receivers. And now you may say, "Oh, Nick, you need more receivers. What are you fucking doing?" It doesn't fucking matter. You don't need that many receivers. You can play running back in your flex. You already have 2 solid wide receivers that you drafted in the 3rd and 4th round. That's high draft capital in fantasy. 2 guys that, in my opinion, aren't very injury prone unless you're in the Super Bowl and you get fucking clapped like Brandon Cooks. But so I crack myself up sometimes. So now you're looking at the board, the wide receivers. You're like, oh, I don't really like any of these guys. So, why? You know what? You wanna know who I like? Kiki Kuti, great target. Curtis Samuel, great target in the back of the draft. These guys could end up being solid flex options or bye-week felons for your team. So when Will Fuller inevitably gets hurt, like he does every year, my boy Kiki Kuti gonna be the number 2 on the team, gonna be scoring the touchdowns on a high-powered offense. That he's gonna end up winning you a lot of games, and for that reason, I am all in on my main man, Kiki Kuti. Now his bye week different than my other 2 wide receivers, which is good. Typically, I don't really look for that, but when you're only drafting 4 wide receivers, you kind of have to have guys that are available. Even though some of the guys in your team are gonna get absolutely dropped once they play like shit. So Kiki Kuti. After we went Kiki Kuti, AP went, followed by Austin Hooper, Golden Tate, Famous Jameis, Jerick McKinnon, the value man at the back of the draft, Phillip Rivers, Curtis Samuel, Peyton Barber, Carlos Hyde, James Washington. Now, you're back here. You're looking. You don't like many of these names. You don't know who many of these guys are. You're like, oh, what do I do, Nick? I don't know who a lot of these guys are. I'll tell you what you do. You draft a guy like Deshaun Jackson, who has a lot of high upside. That could be the number 1 or the number 2 on Philly, probably the slot guy. Or you can go with a guy like that I like even better. I'm blind right now. I don't even see him. I am. Oh, he was already picked. Curtis Samuel was already picked. So we will go with Dante Moncrief here. Not Dante Moncrief. Deshaun Jackson for the upside on Philly. He's going to have boomer bust week, so you want to make sure you have him in your lineup when he's booming. And pick Deshaun Jackson here. After we went TJ Hawkins was picked, followed by Ito Smith, Big Ben Roethlisberger, Anthony Miller, LA Chargers, Naheem Hines, Dante Moncrief, Alexander Madison, Thomas Brady, Paris Campbell, Devin Bunches of Funches, and Devin Terry on the way to the cake no bakery. Alrighty, so we're going to go wide receiver. No, we'll wait on wide receiver. We'll go one more running back right here. And we're going to reach down a bit and get my main man, Matt Breida, who could end up being the running back 1 on San Francisco. Some people comment on my videos. Why are you drafting Matt Breida? He's not going to be the running back 1. He was last year when all those fuckers were injured, and he played pretty well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 bench spots on accident. I meant to have 6. There's actually 7 bench spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's extra deep. You know what I'm saying? Not what you want your girl to be, but what you like. I'm sorry. We're gonna go with Dion Lewis here. I think that's who I was talking. No, we're gonna go with Matt Breida. I also like Dion Lewis. So after we went Matt Breida, Dickie Dak Prescott went, followed by Terrell Williams, Cleveland Browns, Minnesota Vikings, McCall Hardman, Justice Hill, Jimmy Guap, Greg Zuerlein, Lamar Jackson. So we got 2 bench spots left. And we're gonna go with one more running back and a wide receiver, because we'll just drop one of these running backs, receivers that don't pan out, and just pick up a backup quarterback when Matt Ryan is when Matt Ryan's on bye, or if he gets hurt. And what you do is then you just drop him, the quarterback, right after Matt Ryan gets healthy, or right after that happens. So we're gonna reach down here and go with my man. I talked about Dion Lewis, but I want to talk about this guy, Kalen Ballage. Now, Kalen Ballage has been taking the last 2 days, so today and the day before. Not today when you're watching this. So yesterday and the day before that when you're watching this. He's been taking the first team snaps. They're hammering the ball with Kalen Ballage. I don't know why the fuck they're doing that. Kenyon Drake is better than him, in my opinion, as a Dolphins fan. But it doesn't matter. Whoever's the running back 1 obviously is going to get the touches. So for that reason, we're going to lock in Kalen Ballage here. Because I don't know if he'll come back to me. I don't know if the computer has adjusted to that yet. So we are going to be going with my main man, Kalen Ballage. I also like Justin Jackson over here. If what's his name? If Melvin Gordon was to hold out. So for that reason, we're gonna go Kalen Ballage. After we went Kalen Ballage, Justin Tucker the fucker was selected, followed by Delaney Walker, Baltimore Ravens, Harrison Butker, Kirk Cousins, G. Reg Third Leg Olson, Justin Jackson, Mark Andrews, Dallas Cowboys, Chris Thompson, Devontae Parker, Deion Lewis, and now we go our fifth and final wide receiver. We want a guy with high upside, right? That's what you want in fantasy when you're at the back of the draft. And the guy with the most high upside that I see right here with my own two eyes is Traquan. Oh, geez, my voice is sounding quite weird because I'm kind of sick. Traquan Smith is a wide receiver who could end up being the wide receiver 2 on New Orleans. Obviously, that would make him like the third or fourth target on the team, but that's okay. He'll catch the passes. Drew Brees throws that communist offense or whatever. I'm fucking retarded. I just said communist, and I think I meant something different. But he spreads the ball around. Everyone gets everything. Everyone gets the passes. Everyone catches the ball. And Michael Thomas more than everyone else, but Traquan Smith will get his touches, his catches, and for that reason, we're going to go with Traquan Smith here. After we selected Traquan Smith, Randall Cobb went off the board, followed by C.J. Anderson, Trey Burton, Andy Isabella, Will Lutz, Deshaun Hamilton, Jack Doyle, Stephen Gostkowski, Marquise Goodwin, and the Denver Broncos. So now you're picking your defense here. On Sleeper, you can pick. You don't have to pick a kicker or defense, but in a lot of drafts, in a lot of formats, you do have to do that. So for that reason, I do always draft a defense. Was my defense taken already? Let me see. The Cowboys get taken? They were. The fucking Cowgirls have been selected. So the way you're going to pick a defense is you're going to Google NFL schedule week 1, pick a defense that's playing against a shitty offense, and that's the defense you want. The Cowboys are playing the Giants week 1. I think Eli or Daniel Jones loves throwing picks. So for that reason, that's why I go the Cowboys. They also have an easy week 2 or 3 schedule, but I don't know anything about the Eagles defense, but they're the highest ranked one. But later you can subscribe and get the other videos that I'm going to actually talk about which defense to pick. So Josh Allen was picked after the Eagles, followed by Kai Fairbairn, Robbie Gould, Jimmy Graham, Adam Vinatieri, New York Jets, Jake Elliott, Hollywood Brown, Giovanni Bernard, Jordan Reed, Mitchell Trubisky, Kissin' Titties himself, and DeHuke Johnson, the Duke. And now you're going kicker. I don't know how to pick a kicker, really. I just pick the best ranked guy on some rankings I find. That's the kicker I pick. Or based upon my head, who I think the best is. I like Giorgio Trevecchio, so we'll go with him. After we went Giorgio Trevecchio, Kyle Rudolph, old man, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was selected, followed by Michael Gallup, Darwin Thompson, Michael Badgley, and Noah Fant. So, our final lineup is quarterback Matthew Ryan. Our 2 running backs are Zeke, Damian Williams. Our receivers Stefan Diggs, Brandon Cooks. Our tight end Vance McDonald, Vance Refrigeration himself. Our flex Chris Carson. Our kicker Giorgio Trevecchio. Our defense the Eagles. Our bench is comprised of Latavius Murray, Rolls-Royce Freeman, Kiki Do You Love Me Cootie, Deshaun Jackson, Matt Breida, Kalen Ballage, and Traquan Smith. So thank you guys all for watching this video. Please click the subscribe button down below, or click on Johnny Manziel if he's on your screen right now. If not, it'll be on the screen in a few seconds. Click that. Click the notification bell to get notified for all the videos. Leave a like rating and comment down below. I always answer the comments. Click on one of the videos that's on your screen. Have a great goddamn day. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I'll see you guys later, actually, for the second upload of the day. So have a great goddamn day, guys. I love you all. Goodbye.